Hi guys, welcome back to another one. Didn't get as much of this video or this project recorded at all. It's kind of cold out in the garage. It's hard to keep the GoPro battery charged. I'll see what I can save from the other ones and show you some of the key points from it, but I'll kind of go over what I did here. Working on the wood stove, I added a blower motor to it. If you look back at, so the last video I had of this, the wood stove project in the garage here. I'll show you that fan. Used to have this double fan on here. It was 300 and what was it? 312 CFM, but it has 2 ports on there. I still have the boxes here. Got transitions here welded to the wood stove, and then this bolted up to that fan. I have 2 of them, and they had to sit at an angle because the input of the stove has to be out here because that firebox actually comes down at an angle across the bottom. That fan wasn't as wide, but I did away with that, and I put in a squirrel cage fan out of a furnace, house furnace. I had to make the transition here going across. That was 8 inches wide by 9 or 8.5 inches tall by 9 inches wide, I believe, or maybe it's vice versa, but I believe it's 9 inches wide by 8.5 tall. And this is the shape of the hole that I could get into the wood stove. And so I made this size, or this there, and of course it's opposite on the other side there. And cut the hole there for that. Well, then I had no way of actually attaching to the wood stove, so I welded some angle iron onto the stove here to where it sticks out in that same shape, and got that all screwed to it, and then sealed that up. I made the design of this on a free CAD program. Just Google free online CAD. You got like a 30-day free trial for just a simple CAD program, and made it so I had all the dimensions and everything, so I could cut this out. This is furnace tin. You can get at Menards or Lowe's, Home Depot, just 24 by 36 inch sheet of galvanized tin. Lightweight. Just cut that out with a pair of I don't even know what they are. They're metal scissors, basically. They're for siding, but kind of like tin snips, but more scissor style there. These, they're meant for siding, aluminum siding or soffit fascia stuff. Cut that out. I folded it. They're rounded, or they're bent 90 degrees on the side here, and so I could get some rivets and self-tapping screws into there. I have a bend on every corner, so there's this side piece here has it coming over into the top, and then this piece kind of overlaps the side to get double there, so I could have structures as strong and be able to attach everything. Kind of hard to tell, but that's at an angle there. Gets narrow up to the top there, and same thing, overlapped on both sides there. Then to seal that up, use the plate out of the furnace box that it came in, where that plate or that fan slides down into, for the mount the fan back to, and be able to attach this to there. And then I took the rest of the shell and cut it down and made a box for the fan to go into to help dampen that sound. And then a little filtration. I mean, it's going to get plugged pretty fast, but it's more or less just to help dampen the sound a little bit so it ain't so loud. I got to cut the last piece of tin here for the top and screw it on. But you can see down inside the fan sits down in there. And it just has grooves. It's hard to see, but there's a slot or a channel there for that to slide down into that holds that up to get air. You can kind of see the angle on the side there. And then there's 2 screws to hold it in to make it where it can't slide up and down. But of course these fans have multiple speeds on them. There's a low, a medium low, a medium high, and a high. So I have the high wire taped up and stuck back in here. That's the high wire. And I don't need it. Low is more than enough, but I have this hooked to a switch where I can turn it on and off for power. I got that ran into a box here, and I got some double pole single throw switches here, where this is set on low now, and I can turn this to the off position in the middle, or turn it on this way. And then this takes the power out of this switch and puts it to this switch, and then I have medium set up on that side, and I have high set up on this side. Which is low, medium, and medium high. Because like I said, I got that high set up over there. So I can set it, you know, if I need to, turn the fan up if it does get too hot inside that box, which it does not. Kind of had it on low the whole time, just wired in temporarily while I was kind of working everything else. And it does more than its job. Blows air out here, and then I got a ductwork running up and over, and I got a diffuser plate on the end of that where it sticks down and it kind of blows it out through the garage. I was just wiring that switch up, and I actually had it off for probably 45 minutes to an hour as I was finishing the wiring, had the power turned off to it all. And it's still, see if I can get it on here, about 72, maybe 73 degrees right here by the stove. But I got another thermometer set up across the garage here, and it's 68, 69 degrees. And I think it's down to like, it was in the 30s all day today, but I think it's down to like 25, 26 outside right now. They kind of got an ice storm coming in for us tonight. Cold weather coming, rain, snow. But said I needed to upgrade that because that fan just didn't push enough air to extract all the heat. The heat coming out of these old ductworks was 200 plus degrees coming out of here. And so it was warm to warm the garage up, but it'd take hours to dissipate the heat all the way across the garage. I'd have fans set up here and everything else, and it just didn't work. So I needed to upgrade, and had a friend of mine that replaced his furnace actually a year ago, and that was laying outside in his burn pile. Hadn't burnt anything yet. I was talking about needing a fan or a furnace, and told me he had one, so I went and picked it up. Everything, it worked on it. So the only thing I have left to do to this, I'm going to get a snap disc thermostat. I believe I can get one for 90. Turns on at 90, or turns off at 90 and on at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And I can get one that's like 110 and 140, I believe. And not sure which temp I'm going to go with, but I'm going to set that up. I don't know if I'm going to do the outside edge here or on the back side. It'll probably be on the back side, or if I do it, build a box here on the back. But I think if I did it here, it still wouldn't be quite accurate, because this back side will get quite hot here, and I don't really want to read the temp inside the fire or inside the box. I want to read the temp inside the shell, more or less. So I think I might do it to the outside of the stove here, and so it will turn on and off according to the temp inside the box, or inside that shell, that air chamber, and then run that back down. So I'd run that hot wire coming in to that switch and then back to here. That way I could leave the power onto it when, like tonight, when I get done out here, this will be running, blowing out nice hot air. But when it cools down, gets down, the fire burns out, it'll shut that fan down so it ain't circulating cold air and wasting all the electricity and everything else. And I can also come out and start the fire and just leave the power on, and once it gets up to temp, it'll kind of maintain itself for the fan. You can wire in force draft blowers with these, so it'll kind of force the draft in there and regulate the draft and you can set them up like on a thermostat to where if it gets cold in here, it'll turn that draft motor on and power, you know, and start forcing that air in there to get that fire to burn nice and hot. And then once that gets up to temp, that draft motor will burn or close down or shut itself off. But I'm not going to do that for heating this garage, so I can manually take care of that just by opening and closing the flue, and matter of how much wood I put in there. Had this set up last so New Year's Eve. I got the fan hooked up and the box hooked up. Well, New Year's Eve I got everything hooked up and made sure it worked. I came out New Year's Eve, so yes, would have been yesterday. Came out and got it, and I had the fire going for a little bit, and within an hour it was 75 degrees in here. And I started working on the box and stuff today and finished all that up and doing all the top pieces and the fan and the side box and stuff. But out in the garage I was out there all day today and probably about half a day yesterday, and I can get this, like I said, it's 80 degrees in here now, but it don't take a whole lot of wood. It takes, you know, three or four big pieces, a couple kindling pieces to get it started, and within an hour it's definitely warm enough to work out here in a t-shirt. And then a couple pieces, maybe 1 or 2 pieces every 3 hours, throwing in there, just keep it, you know, keep it maintaining it. And I'm trying to cut down on a little bit of wood, throwing, you know, a little less wood in there to after I get it going every couple hours, just try to maintain that temp, find that happy medium to get it, you know, 70 in here, 65, 70 instead of 80, because it's hot. I'm wearing my sweatshirt now. I was outside, I went back and forth to the house and that. It was a little colder outside, but I need to take it off in here again. But so it's got a nice bed of coals in here now. This will probably still be warm out here until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning off just the coals that are in here. Of course, I'm gonna have to leave the fan on because I don't have it set up to a thermostat yet. I gotta order that tonight or tomorrow. But figure I'd give you guys a little update, and hopefully this will warm the garage up a little faster and save on quite a bit of wood. Like I said before, with the other fan, this same setup, the only thing different was the fan being on the back, and I just had another elbow sitting here, and it would, instead of, if it's above 30 degrees, I could get it, you know, 55, 60 in here, matter of like 2 hours, 2.5 hours probably, and maintain that temp all day. But if it got down below 20 degrees, it's hard to keep this garage heated. And I'd use a full wheelbarrow of wood plus some every day doing that. And this is the last 3 pieces out of the wheelbarrow from yesterday. But I had that, probably used 2 or 3 pieces out of the wheelbarrow the last time I had it in here running off the old setup, and then I've been continuing using that. So figure about a wheelbarrow every 3 days, which would probably be about a good 2 days worth of running out here. And I could use that before, I could use that in about 6 hours. So the wood pile should last quite a bit longer now with that. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. See you on the next one.